What's up, guys? This is Severin Steelsmith here. I'm going to do a little quick tutorial on how to make a guitar cable. You really just need a couple supplies. You need a nice soldering iron. I recommend something that's powered, has a separate power supply, not one of those really small ones where you can, you can change the temperature, which is great. And it has this built-in little sponge, which is convenient to help clean the tip of the soldering iron. You're going to need some solder. You want to make sure you don't get acid core solder. You want to get rosin core solder, so just electronic solder essentially. And I recommend some sort of wire cutters. I use a Leatherman Wave. It kind of does everything, and it has a little wire cutter in the middle. I don't use your typical wire cutters because I don't think I don't know, I just use this. This is just kind of good for everything. And you're going to need a cable. Here's the end of the cable. I already stripped the wires, and you're going to need an end for the cable itself. And here's the sort of, I guess, sleeve is part of it, and this goes in here. So I already pre-stripped this, so let's start on an end that I haven't stripped real quick. So here we go. First thing you want to do when you do this, before you even fool with doing any kind of stripping, is you go ahead and put the end or the connector, whatever you want to call it, its sleeve onto the cable itself, because if you forget to do this, then you will have to unsolder everything, and I have done that numerous times, so let's save everybody a little bit of time. This connector's a little, or this cable's a little old, so I'm going to go ahead and just snip off the end for like a fresh end right here. There. And I have a little bit of the lead wire pulled out. That's okay. I'll just cut off. This is just something I do. It's not necessary, I would say. So I'm going to take a knife and go ahead and guesstimate about how much I need of a sort of length of cable. And I'm just going to cut around it and try to be careful not to cut the actual cable itself. But see, as you can see, doesn't take a whole lot. That's all she wrote there. There we go. And if you did a good job, you shouldn't have cut any of the ground wire. So I'm just going to take this and twist it. Alright, so I stripped the actual signal portion, or the hot portion, I guess you could call it. Here's my ground right here. Here's the hot, or the tip. It's the sleeve. So you want to twist this as well, just to gather all the wires together. And you'll know if you cut too deep into the wire. When you twist it, it'll break apart. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and tin the wire, which helps just in the process of applying the actual wire, you want to call it wire, to the end, and I'll show you why, or what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go ahead. You want to make sure you do this on a surface that you don't mind getting solder on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and, on my soldering iron, I want to put a little bit of solder on here because it helps it flow. Make sure my tip is clean, and I'm going to just flow a little bit of solder on the tip. It's probably a little bit too much, to be honest, but that's fine. And do the same thing with the ground, but first what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how much ground I need. You can kind of look. So this, I'm going to actually, we want to make sure that the ground does not touch where the tip needs to be. So usually the sleeve or the ground is right where you want to connect it, is right there, and the tip is right here. I think these usually come pre-tinned, the connectors, or they're pretty good about that, but I'm going to do it anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get rid of about that much of the ground wire, just to make this a little bit easier. That's all I needed to do. Now I'm going to see and that looks a lot better. So let me go ahead and tin the ground wire, just like I did the hot wire. My next step is, let's see, I'll go ahead and, it usually comes with a sleeve. And what this does is it protects the any like to say the hot from touching the ground portion. So I'm going to put this on. It's not necessary, but it helps. And I'm going to solder this connector together. Like I said before, like a helping hand or something would be very helpful, which is like a little Radio Shack little count with the alligator clip. So this is always kind of a pain. I'll go ahead and tin the connector itself a little bit. And when you do this, you want to make sure none of the solder actually drips or connects one portion to the other. There we go. Hope you guys can see that. So my next step is I'm going to solder the ground wire on here. So you want to heat. There we go. You kind of want to make sure you heat the surface and the wire together, and wait till it flows. You'll see it turn liquid right there, and it gets really hot. So just let it cool off and get solid again. And that looks good. Now I'm going to do my tip right here. Same thing. Make sure the connection gets a nice chance to dry and don't move it. So it gets really hot. You want to make sure that you did a nice solid connection. If you don't heat the surfaces up long enough, then what happens is you can pull on this and the wire will pull off the big hunk of solder too, and it wouldn't have adhered to the surface. So what I'll do next is, let's see, this has these little kind of like teeth right here, just to help keep, it's like a strain relief. So I'm going to close these, just like that. Okay. So that helps the strain relief. And here's my little guy to keep the this section from touching any of the other parts that would create a short. So I'll put that on right there. Here's the end cap. And we'll put that guy on. So now I should be able to just take the sleeve section and twist it around here. Voila! We have a guitar cable. So just do that again for the other end and then test it out, and you should be rocking and rolling. Thanks for watching, guys.